record now. So we're talking Pinterest tonight, and how to use it for our business. And basically, I think the first thing, one of the most important things to say, is that it really only makes sense, from what I've researched, to use Pinterest if you have a website or a blog to point people to. Because the whole point of business for Pinterest, I mean, you can use Pinterest, of course, for your own personal interest, if you want to save things, if you want to save recipes and Shakeology and all that kind of stuff. And you could probably start building some relationships that way. But as far as actual business, people going to buy something from you, it makes the most sense to have a Pinterest business account. And whether you want that to be the same as what you use as your personal account, that's up to you. You can actually convert your personal account into a business account easily. Or you can have separate, if you already have your own Pinterest stuff and you have things that maybe don't apply to the business end of things, you can have your personal account and your business account. But it definitely seems to make a lot of sense to have a business account if you want to use Pinterest for your business. Not only because you're going to want to point people back to your website, but also because you can do some analytical stuff with the business Pinterest account, like as in seeing who's reposting your stuff, who's repinning your stuff, all that kind of stuff. So it'll give you the analytics. So I want to start by saying that. So if you don't plan to have a blog or a website, this might not be the best avenue for you to pursue now. It might be something that you want to wait until you have that part up and going. Okay, so having said that, I put together a little bit of stuff here to share with you, and I want to share my screen with you. Just hang on one second. Let me get to the right thing first. Oh, hang on. Here we go. Okay, so let me share my screen here. There. Okay. So the question is, why would you want to do Pinterest, and why might it, let's say you have a blog or you have some kind of website, then why would you want to move to Pinterest? Well, as it turns out, I don't know the dates on this, so it probably shifts a bit, but at least at the time that I found this, Pinterest is actually ranked the third most popular social media site. This is where people go for information and ideas, and people tend to buy things or be influenced by Pinterest because of all the social proof that happens there. Somebody likes it and somebody else likes it and somebody repins and all that. And it actually drives more traffic than YouTube, Google Plus, and LinkedIn combined back to your website. 70% of the market visits Pinterest to get inspiration of what to buy. So that's the social proof part. It's the number one e-commerce social media site, and the average purchase is $140, $180. So that's kind of crazy, but that's right in our price range, right, for challenge packs. And it generates 400% more revenue than Twitter and 27% more than Facebook. So there's good reason to think about Pinterest. I know for me personally, what interests me about it is that I hear lots of my friends saying they pin this and they pin that and they got that idea from Pinterest and whatever. So I'm thinking, why am I not there more? That seems to be where people are in my niche market and my peers. So things that you might need to profit on Pinterest: a website, like I was saying at the beginning. If you don't have a website, again, this might not be for you, or you might want to wait till you have that up and going to do Pinterest. You certainly could, like I said, you could start to develop some relationships with people, but certainly if you want to drive people to actually buy from you, a website's what you need. And then again, a business account, something to offer, which obviously we have, and then some kind of landing page and email autoresponder. So those are things that you would have on your blog, and I think we're going to do another training about blogging, so we'll talk about landing pages on that. And then basically one person said all you need is 25 minutes per day for 25 days to get it up and going. I don't know how many of you are on Pinterest. Maybe we can talk afterwards. But I think it gets kind of addicting. So 25 minutes, you might want to set your timer to do that. And then I don't know if you all have Pinterest accounts already, but I thought I would just show. So I'm still new to Pinterest, and I'm certainly new to having a business page, but this is my business page. And basically, there are the different pieces of Pinterest are that you have boards. So far I have 10 boards, and wait a minute. There we go. And then you pin essentially pictures to your boards, and I have them categorized here so far as I've basically only pinned things that are on my blog so far. So you pin, maybe I've pinned a bunch of recipes. You can also pin things like quotes and whatever. You could pin pretty much anything that can be in picture format to your Pinterest boards. Then people can like your pictures. They can follow you, which means they follow all of your boards, or they can follow a specific board. Like let's say somebody just wants to follow my clean eating snacks here. And then I, in turn, can also follow other people. And as you can see, I haven't spent time yet doing that where people follow me, I follow them, but it's building relationships. I think it's a lot like a Twitter thing where if somebody's following you, you follow them, that kind of thing. And then this is something that I want to talk about in a second here, but so this is the name, this is my business name. I'm calling it Awakenings Fitness. I have my own reasons for why I don't want to brand myself, my own name, but you might want to have your name up there. Maybe you are your own brand. That would be awesome as well. And this is my website. So it's important to verify your website, and that would be something separate that we can talk about. It's not very hard to do, but it's one step that you want to make sure you take. So basically, Pinterest needs to know that you own the website that you're putting up there. And then this is the little description that my little tagline, although after researching some Pinterest stuff, I'm going to change this because basically everything about Pinterest is searchable, including your own description. So you want to use keywords everywhere in everything. So in your own profile description here, in the description of each pin that you do, you want to use keywords because even in the board titles, all those things you want to make as descriptive as possible and use as many keywords as possible. And you can use hashtags on Pinterest. So that's pretty cool. The other thing about Pinterest that's pretty cool is that you can now message people through Pinterest. So that's kind of relatively new. And you can message people if you are following them and they are following you, then you can message each other, which is huge because it's just another way to reach out to people and contact people and build relationships with people. The other thing that you can do is, let me just pick a person here. Jen is following me. You can see this little button here. This is the Facebook button. So you can actually connect with people on Pinterest, then connect with them on Facebook. So of course, Jen and I are already friends, so that's whatever. But you could also essentially friend request people from your Pinterest site that maybe have pinned a bunch of things. So let's go back here. Oh, and here's Jen's page. So she's obviously much more active on Pinterest than I am. So she has a bunch of boards, pins, likes, followers, and she's following people. Okay, so I'm gonna stop sharing for a second here. And wait a minute, let me just go to my next thing here. Here we go. Okay, so now I'm just gonna walk you through the top tips that I've been learning, and I will post this in the group for everybody as well. So you can have this to refer to. Basically, right, let me just pull us back up here. 1 second, so I can see your pretty face. There we go. Okay, so basically the ideas are that you want to plan for success before you get started. So, some of the stuff you've already been doing. I know that all of us are active on Facebook, and all of us are, have probably given some thought because of other things that you've heard to your potential niche audience. And so you want to do the same for Pinterest. So you want to research what your ideal person who may be pinning things, what are they pinning? What are they looking at? And then you want to set up your boards accordingly. So, we've said in other trainings, and you probably have heard from other people, you don't want to be all Beachbody all the time. So you want to have, whatever your other stuff. So for me, probably stuff with clean eating I'm going to do, probably stuff with family and inspiration kinds of things and whatever. So I don't want it to just be, my Pinterest should just be like all the Beachbody workouts or all Shakeology recipes or something like that. You want to make sure that you're reaching out to whatever your potential client or potential niche person would be interested in. Setting up your boards, and then you can is the next thing for planning ahead, and then integrating with your other social media. So you can, you know, cross over from pinning stuff to Facebook, pinning stuff to Instagram, pinning stuff to Twitter, and all that kind of stuff. So make sure they all kind of work together, and with whatever things you already have going on, you know, kind of integrate those. And then preparing your website for Pinterest as well. So you want to get that pin it button. And we could talk more about that in the blogging thing, but you want to be able to just go right to your pictures that you're putting on your website or your blog and be able to pin them right and connect it right to Pinterest. And then there actually is strategy for pinning. So like I was saying before, everything is searchable on Pinterest. So board titles, pin descriptions are searchable. You can use hashtags, and your profile description, like I was saying, those are all searchable. So that you want to have keywords for your market audience in all of those things. And then the other idea is that really ultimately what you want to happen from pinners, or you know, the people who are in your market on Pinterest, you want them to be going back to your blog, your website, and being able to do something, right? So you want them to be able to buy something or whatever. So you want to make sure all your web links and your permalinks are easily accessible. So you can put those right in the description so that people can go right to your site when they pin something. And there's also strategy about when to pin. So it's kind of like Facebook. I had no idea, but it's kind of like Facebook. You want your audience is probably pinning stuff at certain times of the day. So like generally they were saying on one of the sites 2 to 4 p.m. evenings and weekends, but your particular audience may be a little bit different. Maybe your audience pins first thing in the morning or around dinner time or whatever. So you kind of want to be in tune to that a little bit and be aware of that. Maybe try pinning things at different times of the day. Also there was a suggestion that you don't want to just pin dump. You don't want to just go in and pin everything all at one time, that you want to kind of space it out. Excuse me. And there actually is something that you can schedule your pins. It's Viral Tag, VIRAL tag. And I guess that actually, I didn't look at the cost, but I think it does cost a little bit of something, but you can actually use it to schedule your pins, which is pretty cool. Okay, and then the next point is to be social and build relationships. So just like any other form of social media, the goal is to engage with your pinners, the users on Pinterest. You want to repin their content and show that you value what they're pinning, not just only pinning stuff only from your website. So you want to repin other people's things. You want to follow other people. If somebody follows you, it's kind of, you know, the cordial thing to do, follow them back or follow in their boards back or whatever. Comment on things like pins. You can do those just in the same way you can with Facebook, comment and like things. You can actually use people's names and use that @ sign to tag somebody to notify them that you want them to see a particular thing or something like that. And then you can actually thank people when they repin your stuff, just like in Facebook, when somebody shares something of yours, you can actually go in and say, hey, thanks for repinning that or whatever, and make sure that that they feel appreciated for helping share your item. And then again, you can message each other, which is awesome as long as you're following them and they're following you. One little cautionary, just like on Facebook, Pinterest actually has, I don't know all the rules, it doesn't seem as strict, but you can get so, like, you know, a little ding or whatever for too many of those things. So just be mindful of that. I of course, being a beginner at it myself, haven't run into that, but it did say a little cautionary about that. So just like on Facebook, I guess there sounds like there's kind of a Pinterest jail, so to speak. Okay, what to actually pin. So of course, Pinterest is all about images. So images are everything. So you want to pin good images, good quality images, but they should be diverse, right? They should they can be photos, they can be quotes, and actually I learned one of the sites said that quotes are the most repinned items more than anything else. So some good quotes, and they can be simple things like just the text with a nice background, but be mindful that when, you know, and this is true across the board, be mindful of copyright infringements and stuff like that. Make sure you're crediting appropriate sources. And, you know, even for blogging and all that kind of stuff, just be mindful that if you're pulling a photo from the web in some way, just make sure that it's not copyright. You're not doing any kind of infringement, because you could get into trouble, of course, for that. But anyway, so that aside, so you want to be pinning things that the suggestion is that you don't, just like on Facebook, it's better to not just pin like T25, the product, but maybe you doing T25 or some other ways of showing the product in use. Original content is awesome, and things that of course point you back to your blog. So your own photos that are on your blog that you took with your camera are obviously awesome. And posting things of value that your readers or your pinners will find interesting. But then the other things that I thought were so interesting is that you can actually pin videos. I did not know this. So you can pin videos, and I guess this isn't widely used yet. So it's kind of coming, this is kind of an up and coming thing. So, so you can either pin the video right there, or you can pin like the picture with the play button. And then that way when somebody clicks on it, it takes them to your site where the video actually can be played. So you can do that. The other thing that seems to be really popular is something called an infographic, which is basically like a checklist or something like that that you create that's a kind of essentially a picture, but it has lots of great information on it, like a checklist or a cheat sheet or something like that. I'm thinking like in our business, maybe like an infographic might include like the principles of clean eating all kind of laid out nicely or something. You can actually also pin call to action buttons or pins or whatever, so asking people to do something. So it's not necessarily just a picture that they're going to look at, but it could say, you know, click here or whatever. And you can actually do competitions or, you know, promote some kind of contest on Pinterest as well. And there's a little rule thing that I can post too. So you can really get more interaction if you're kind of challenging people to do something. And the other thing to note, and again, I have this document I'll print up for you guys, it's the width of pictures for Pinterest. The optimal width is 735 pixels, but the length, there's no restriction. So there's some thought that if you made it that width but longer, that may get pinned more than something that's shorter, because it may be more eye-catching. I don't know. I guess that's kind of to be determined. And let's see here. The next thing, two more things here, just two more points, is that Pinterest, of course, you probably know, has a mobile app. And so you can do this, which, you know, Pinterest is kind of one of those things that you could do only a couple minutes here and there and still see pretty good success. But again, you know, the caution being that you could eat a lot of your time if you get lost on Pinterest. But you can actually, you know, link your mobile app to your business account, so that if you have, you know, 5 minutes here and there, you can actually, you know, be pinning and connecting and all that kind of stuff. And then the last point is, again, by having a business account, you have this opportunity to have research and some measurements to your account, so you can see what's being repinned and, you know, who's following you and all that kind of stuff. So that could be really valuable in building relationships and seeing what's most advantageous for you to post or pin. So that's pretty much the end of my spiel for tonight. Let's unmute for a few minutes, and then maybe if you guys want to just talk about if you already have Pinterest, and if you, I mean, of course, if you have questions, I'll do my best, but do any of you use Pinterest already, and are you finding success and all that good stuff?
No.
No.
I use Pinterest. I've had it for like 2-3 years, and I just looked on here and I have 7,800 pins.
Wow.
I didn't even realize I had that many. I have like 60 boards. I have 262 followers. But my only problem with it is the binge pinning, because once I get on there, I do get lost. So it's definitely one of those that I don't know how. I haven't seen any business use, but I really haven't used it for that, really. So I didn't even know about the the business page that you could do. So
Yeah.
because mine's just a lot of stuff for me that I save for later. And like I have like Shakeology folders, I have food folders, I have like baby idea folder. What else do I have? There's different products that I've pinned that I like, different houses, just like all that stuff. So it really, like if someone would get on mine, they wouldn't really see Beachbody or like health and fitness or anything like that.
Yeah. It's worth thinking about. And yeah, I mean, you can keep your personal one and start a professional one, and then you can even, repin your own stuff onto your personal one and vice versa. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. I feel like it would be hard to start a new like business account because I already have followers. I have like Beachbody stuff in it, and I have some personal things as well. But at one point, I tried to like weed through all this stuff that like I'll never look at again. Like, because I went pin crazy for a while too. And so I'm thinking of just keeping it as is. And I have my website and things up there. And I can talk to you about this another time, Kathleen. But I've been having like this hard time figuring out both on YouTube and sites like this on how to get that like verification of your website branding. It's driving me insane. I tried to do it on YouTube today. And I don't know, I can't quite get it. But I didn't realize you could do that on Pinterest as well. So, but I don't know if you can do that on a personal.
I don't think you can. I think you have to switch it to a business. That's probably what's up.
Okay.
But you can switch your personal to a business account. There's
you can?
There's just like one little
thing,
on
and all your people stay with you?
I think so. That was the impression. I mean, I didn't do it that way, but that was the impression I got when I was watching some Pinterest.
Oh, maybe I'll do that then if that's possible. Yeah, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm looking at my notes because I thought I had another question for you. Oh, what? You said landing page. What does that mean?
Yeah, so on your blog or your website or whatever, there's landing pages basically mean you kind of take off all the other fluff of the page and it's basically like you're going to buy on this page. There's no distractions, there's no sidebars, there's often no header, although on my new blog I can't get the header. The header will always remain there, which is fine, but you can take off the sidebar. So basically like the landing page is you're focused, you're buying. You know what I mean? There's nothing else there.
Okay, got it.
All right, so anybody have any other stuff? Pinterest?
One more question. Can you pin a picture from, I don't think you can, maybe you can, from your Facebook page to Pinterest?
No.
Okay.
I've tried that multiple times, like to link it back to my like page, and you can't do anything from Facebook.
Okay. That's what I thought.
You also cannot, what else did I learn about Facebook? You cannot go Facebook business page to business page to like page. You can't do that either. You can like take the URL and put, just cut and paste that, but you can't do a share from your Pinterest to your business page to your profile page. I think that's right.
Yeah, because
personal to personal.
Right, because I just checked that because I clicked on something that looked like it was going to my Facebook page, and it just says it whatever. You can't do it.
Yeah. So the other thing, just to just throw this in there too, one of the sites that I was when I was researching it said there are some companies that really use Pinterest. Some of the ones they said to check out were Whole Foods, Oprah, she's the one using the videos a lot. And wait, let me find the other ones. Whole Foods Okra, Mashable, Daily Grommet are some ones that are really using Pinterest. But anyway, but this lady who wrote this article said that it's in her own social media blog and website that Pinterest was the first highest source of referral traffic of people coming to her blog, which I think is so interesting, passing up Facebook, which is interesting for me because I'm in a place now. I'm so glad we started this group because I'm in a place now where I just want to move on from Facebook. And I'm really excited to try out these other things. I'm excited for the other calls that are coming up because I feel like there are other ways to connect with people, and when we talk about like the invite and blah, 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 I keep thinking like, or at least I have been thinking like, okay, I have to personal message somebody on Facebook. I have to find another person, or like when you're adding contacts and all that, when your goal is like to add 10 new contacts this week or whatever. I kept thinking it was just through Facebook, but really that's not true. I mean, you can add contacts through any social media and you can invite through any social media. So anyway, I feel like the on switch for me went on with that. Like, wait a minute, it's not just Facebook.
Well, I like that because like with Pinterest and stuff, you can find people that are interested in starting,
Yeah.
like starting with fitness versus Facebook, you're kind of really shooting in the dark.
Yeah.
Like with inviting and stuff, you're just like, hey, here's my free group, like come join. I don't know if you're interested, but like with Pinterest, you can kind of look and see, okay, well they're posting like healthy things, they're posting clean eating, like
Yes.
because that's how I've gotten a few of my challengers that I know personally, like from growing up with them and stuff. I'm like, hey, you're pinning some stuff on on Insta or whatever. I'm getting them all confused on Pinterest, and so I'll go message them, and they're like, yeah, I'm actually looking for a way to do it, and I'm just like, yes, got it.
Yeah. I'm so glad you said that because one of the sites I was reading was basically like saying people are raising their hands, like look over here because I'm like just like you're saying, like I'm pinning all these things, like I want that. I remember before I started. Now that you say that, I remember pinning recipes and on like a couple of workouts you could do in your bedroom, or I can't remember what it was, but some kind of like in your house. Whatever.
Well, that's where like the squat challenge and stuff came from, like all those 30-day squat or push-ups or whatever. That's where they all came from, was Pinterest. Because I know before I started, that's where I went. I was just like, okay, I'm gonna make up my own workout.
Yeah.
Didn't work, but I tried.
Right, me too. Same here. Yeah, I love it. All right, Jeannie, did you have anything that you wanted to? Are you on Pinterest already?
I am, just personal stuff. I don't have a lot of, other than clean eating and like 21-day fix recipes, I've only done personal stuff on there.
Yeah.
So
cool. All right, well, I think up next we have Kelly's going to do something about YouTube, which I also heard was like the number, it's up there as far as when people are looking for answers. It's like Google and then YouTube, like is the next thing. So I think that'll be a really great one to hear more about. And then I don't know if we have the next one scheduled. So if anybody feels like they want a deadline on whatever you signed up to do, we can keep going with the calls and have maybe I'll put a sign up in the group so you can sign up for that. Do you guys want to keep doing this every other week, or do you feel like it would be helpful to do it a different way? Kind of learning more.
I think this is good.
Every other week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it gives us enough time to focus on that one. So like
Right.
next 2 weeks we can focus on Pinterest, and then after that we can kind of come back and talk about that, but then move on to the next one.
Yeah.
That's true.
All right, awesome. I'll post a little sign-up sheet, so if anybody, I know it was helpful to me to have like a date out there that I needed to work on it for. So if that helps motivate you, we can sign up for the next ones too. And like I said, I'll definitely follow up, or if anybody else finds a lot of success on Pinterest, we can always do another follow-up call to this one and share things that we learn as we go and all that good stuff. So thanks for getting on, everybody. It's good to see you.
Thank you. That was helpful.
yeah, it was.
For me too.
Thanks.
All right, we'll see you soon. Have a good night.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.